In May 1911, John D. Rockefeller was standing on a golf course when a messenger arrived with news from the United States Supreme Court. The justices ruled that his life's work, the Standard Oil Company, was an illegal monopoly. They ordered it shattered into 34 separate pieces. Facing the largest corporate execution in American history, Rockefeller turned to his playing partner and offered a single piece of financial advice: buy Standard Oil shares. He was exactly right. The legal dismemberment of Standard Oil didn't ruin Rockefeller. Almost overnight, the breakup of his empire made him significantly wealthier. This raises a central question. Why did the most famous legal destruction of a monopoly in American history result in a massive wealth multiplier for the monopolist? To find the answer, we have to look at how Rockefeller designed his machine to survive the very laws built to destroy it. In the 1860s, the first American petroleum boom in Pennsylvania was chaotic. The landscape was crammed with wooden derricks pulling oil from the ground as fast as possible, creating wild price swings and bankrupting producers almost as quickly as they struck oil. Rockefeller looked at this ruinous, wasteful market and decided not to compete within it. He incorporated Standard Oil with a specific objective: to eliminate the chaos by controlling the entire industry. This flowchart illustrates his primary weapon, a logistics trap. Standard Oil used its massive refining scale to negotiate secret deals with the railroads that transported the barrels. Rockefeller didn't stop at demanding steep discounts for his own freight. He forced the railroads to make an actual payment to Standard Oil for every single barrel his competitors shipped. Every time an independent refinery made a sale and shipped its product, they were quietly subsidizing Rockefeller. Faced with a competitor who structurally profited off their operational costs, independent refiners had two options: sell to Standard Oil at a discount, or operate until they went bankrupt. Rockefeller didn't just build a more efficient refinery. He created a shipping infrastructure that essentially taxed his competitors for the right to exist. By the early 1880s, Standard Oil controlled 90% of American refining capacity. Operating across dozens of state lines, this level of market concentration attracted serious regulatory scrutiny. To hide the true scale of the corporation, Rockefeller's lawyer, Samuel Dodd, devised a legal fiction in 1882. He created the Standard Oil Trust. The stock of multiple state-level entities was placed under the control of a single, highly secretive board of 9 trustees. On paper, each company looked independent, rendering the coordinated strategy completely opaque to outside regulators. A corporation of this size required sympathetic courts and ineffective regulators. Standard Oil replaced crude cash bribes with a professionalized political department. They tracked legislation, deployed campaign contributions through disguised donor networks, and leveraged massive shipping contracts to pressure businesses into influencing their local politicians. Standard Oil constructed a sophisticated political ecosystem that systematically subverted the democratic processes intended to regulate it. The person who finally pierced this corporate armor was a freelance journalist named Ida Tarbell. She had grown up in western Pennsylvania, watching Standard Oil's predatory tactics systematically dismantle her own father's independent oil business. In 1900, she began a 4-year investigation for McClure's magazine. Instead of relying on industry rumors, Tarbell tracked down thousands of pages of internal documents, shipping manifests, and court records. Her 19-part series provided precise, documentary evidence of the secret railroad rebates and the political influence operation that Rockefeller had spent decades insulating from public view. Tarbell's meticulous reporting bypassed Standard Oil's defenses, generating undeniable public outrage that finally forced the federal government to launch the antitrust investigation that led to the 1911 Supreme Court showdown. When the Supreme Court finally dissolved the corporation in 1911, the legal remedy they chose contained a specific flaw in its execution. This chart shows exactly how the court structured the dissolution. The ruling shattered the trust into 34 independent companies, but it distributed the shares for every single new entity directly back to Standard Oil's existing shareholders. Because Rockefeller personally owned a massive stake in the original trust, he instantly became the major shareholder in all 34 of the new, theoretically competing companies. Freed from the legal uncertainty of the federal lawsuit, the combined stock market value of these 34 successor companies quickly dwarfed the value of the original monopoly, multiplying Rockefeller's personal wealth in the process. Over the next century, these supposedly independent fragments slowly merged back together through a complex series of corporate acquisitions, forming recognizable energy titans like Exxon, Mobil, Chevron, and Amoco. By focusing on the legal structure of the corporation rather than the underlying financial control, the government failed to disrupt the actual mechanisms of market power. The methods Standard Oil used to shape the political system outlived the company itself. The specific tactics evolved as laws changed, but the strategy of using corporate financial resources to construct favorable political environments became a template for modern lobbying. The Sherman Antitrust Act that was weaponized against Standard Oil remains the primary legal framework the government uses today to evaluate and regulate modern technology monopolies. In 1911, the government successfully shattered a monopoly, but the Standard Oil case proved that if a corporation is embedded deeply enough into the legal and political fabric of a nation, even its own dissolution can be a source of strength.